Hi, everybody. I am thrilled today to welcome to this program one of the most popular Dodgers of all time and his son, who is a Dodger broadcaster. Let's welcome Manny and Jose Mota. How are you?
Thank you, Rose. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. So happy to see you and great to see you and happy to see you and all your friends.
Well, thank you, Manny, very much. Manny, you played 20 seasons in the major leagues, 13 with the Dodgers, where he hit .315. That is the second highest career batting average in Los Angeles Dodger history. Mike Piazza hit .331. When you retired at the age of 44 in 1982, you were baseball's all-time pinch hit leader with 150. Why were you such a successful pinch hitter?
Well, concentration, determination, focus, and positive thinking. Those were the ingredients to be a good pinch hitter. I don't say I was a good pinch hitter, Ross. I was a lucky pinch hitter. But every time into the plate, these are your friends. They play big role with my at-bats because the way they get me at the plate give me some great motivation to try to do the best I possibly can.
Did you tell me one time that when you went to the plate, your idea was to hit the ball up the middle?
I was focused on the middle and the other way, because if I focus hitting through the middle in opposite way, that allowed me to stay back way longer and see the ball better.
Yeah. You had I guess what you'd call an inside out swing, and as a right-handed batter, that allowed you to hit the ball to right field for many of your hits, didn't it?
Well, I know I was better hitter the other way from second base to right field, but in some situations I adjust and I pull, but I focus and take what the pitch give me. They pitched me away, I was going that way. They tried to come inside, I tried to pull the ball. But I know I was a better hitter straight away in opposite field, and that's what I try to do every at bat.
Vin Scully once said Manny Mota could wake up on Christmas morning and hit a line drive to center field. Jim Murray once wrote Manny could get wood on a bullet.
I appreciate that.
When you were 19 years old, you signed with the New York Giants a year before they moved to San Francisco. How much money did you get?
I got a big bonus. I was a bonus baby because I get $400 bonus. Yeah, but at that time, $400 was like $1 million right now.
Jose, when you were 19 years old, you were at Cal State Fullerton on a baseball scholarship. Eventually, you'd get to the major leagues. Did college baseball improve your game?
Oh, 100%. I was blessed, as you know, Ross, to have grown up in this family, to learn the game, to be introduced to magnificent players and great teachers and winners. I always say, I grew up around winners, okay? Back from when I was 3 months old with Roberto Clemente and Manny Sanguillen and Jose Pagan. Well, all the way through my Dodger history, I was around people that won. Now, in college baseball, I learned how to play the game, right? My dad taught me everything about the game. But then when I got to Augie Garrido's hands, it was a different story. Now, I had to be responsible for my own career and for my own success or failure, right? So college baseball taught me to play at the highest level against great competition. And I'll tell you what, Ross, people told me, even my dad told me, you could have signed out of high school, but you probably would have spent 3-4 years in A-ball, rookie, single A, short A. But in college, it's almost like you're playing high A-ball, even sometimes double A-ball, as you know very well. With when you play in Oklahoma State and Texas and UCLA, even UC Irvine, you're playing high caliber baseball. And Roz, there's no doubt that because of college baseball, I had the best experience playing and learning, and also understanding the game, understanding myself on what I needed to do to succeed, and watching him get ready, help me get ready, and want more. You know, he always said, "Hey, when you got 2 hits, you won 3. When you got 3 hits, you 3 for 3 in the 6th inning, you won number 4, because tomorrow you never know what's going to happen." So
Right.
college baseball to me was such a blessing, because I learned at a higher level how to play the game against very good players, especially here in Southern California.
You were a second-round draft choice with the White Sox. You played 12 years in the minors for 6 organizations. San Diego and Kansas City brought you to the major leagues. And I'll tell you, you had to really have to battle to stay with it as you did. After you retired as a player, you got into the baseball broadcasting business. You worked on Angel games for 20 seasons. You joined the Dodgers just this past season. Now, you have served in a number of roles on the Spanish language, and I guess even English language, radio and TV broadcast, play-by-play, color, sideline reporter, pre and post-game shows, interviews, also a translation for Spanish-speaking players. Hey, you're a versatile guy, aren't you?
I had to be. That's the way to survive in the game. Even though I signed as a second baseman, Ross, you know very well, I was an All-America at Fullerton, and I played against tremendous players, and I was drafted high. Well, I know that my dad always said, don't concentrate only on one position, because you never know which organization is going to see you as a shortstop, as a utility guy. And, you know, when you talk about versatility, Ross, on the broadcasting field, Al Campanis, when I was 14, 15, I was a center fielder and a pitcher, okay, in youth baseball.
Wow.
And Al Campanis told my dad, Manny, I think he should play shortstop, because I don't think he's going to be very big. I think he's going to be around 5'9", 5'10", and I think he's going to be better off playing the infield. Al Campanis, again, in his genius mind, was right about it. Now, I had to transfer that into my career. It prolonged my career, actually, because I was able to say, hey, I can play the outfield, I can play second base, third base, shortstop, wherever they needed me, Russell. It is important to keep an open mind, which I learned by watching my dad and watching so many other players. I mean, remember, I grew up around Darryl Thomas and Pete Guerrero and Steve Sachs and Garvey. All these guys changed positions at one point, right?
Yeah.
So I learned that, and I saw this happen, and it's only going to be beneficial for me. I got to put my pride aside, my ego aside, and in the broadcasting business, I came in with the Angels in Spanish radio, and the great Tim Meade said, "Hey, don't limit yourself to doing Spanish only, because you have a lot to offer in English."
That's right. You're bilingual.
Exactly. So Vince Skelly told me himself, along with you and so many great Dodger broadcasters, you have a lot to offer in this market to the baseball people. So you need to do both. And I've done more English and Spanish, but at the same time, I'm quite privileged to be a Dodger broadcaster now, in Spanish mostly, in English, to be around great people. But Ross, being versatile is something that I recommend to anybody getting into the business, because many times I got a job because I said yes without even having done the job before.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to expose myself and do it and learn from that.
That's right. And I'll bet, Jose, that you spent a lot of time talking to the Dodger players that you just mentioned and learned something from them.
I did, as I learned from you. And I go back to the days of yourself and Rudy Hoyos, and obviously Hyman Renee and Jerry Doggett and Jim Denier Johnson. I mean, I go back to those days when I used to be in your booth bugging you guys and asking questions. So as I asked you questions, you invited me into the booth along with Vinny and them. I also asked the player questions about what position they preferred, why, how they got ready, but also I watch a lot. My dad always said, when you guys get to the ballpark, when you pass 13, 14, 15, just watch people, how they get ready and why these guys are so good. So it's a matter of combination of learning, studying, being around the right people. And also Tommy Lasorda, Ross, played a big role with us. You know why? Tommy always invited the kids to the clubhouse. Okay.
Wow.
And Tommy even allowed us to have lockers stalls in the clubhouse with, with the guys. And I remember talking to Dusty Baker about this years ago, and he goes, Jose, you know what? I want kids in my clubhouse when he was back with the Giants, because kids allow us to think and to see the game as what it is, a game. So I am a product, Ross, of all these wonderful things that I was exposed to thanks to my dad and my mom, because the right people were around us teaching us. And if we didn't behave, the worst thing happened. You know what the worst thing was? Not being allowed to go to Dodger Stadium for a day. That was a cruel penalty.
That was worse than getting a whipping, huh?
Yes, it was.
Ross, I told
You
Jose,
just got a big promotion because you were asked by the MLB Network to come to New York and work the recent playoffs. What did you do?
It was wonderful. I mean, something unprecedented. You think about NBC, CBS, all these major networks, ESPN, right? MLB Network, with over 90 million subscribers, I believe it is. Well, they actually flipped the switch and turned their network into Spanish.
Wow.
For the American League Division Series and for the American League Championship Series. And what I mean is, people were turning on those games and they're watching us in Spanish. Fernando Alvarez, Angel Castillo, Yandro Alonso, and my great partner at the end, Carlos Pena, the former player. So it was magnificent. It had never been done before, and people just embraced it and loved it. We were getting compliments from all over the world, not just Latin America, all over the world. And
wonderful.
People applauded MLB and MLB Network for doing something like that, because it took a lot of guts. They bought the rights in Spanish to TBS, and they said, let's turn this into a Spanish broadcast, and they give us everything we needed with great resources.
Manny, when you played for the Pirates, one of your teammates was Roberto Clemente, who originally was in the Dodgers organization. What did Clemente say to you that made you a better player?
let me tell you, Ross, I learned a lot from Roberto Clemente, how to play the outfield. And watching Roberto Clemente, he gave me a lot of advice about hitting, about playing the outfield, about respect the game and play hard and get 100% all the time. Only from watching Roberto Clemente play, I learned a lot. I tried to pick his brain because without a doubt, he was the best Latin American player I ever see playing this game. Not take any credit away from anybody, but Roberto Clemente was the greatest. He was a great person, great human being. He was a person proud of being a Puerto Rican and represented Puerto Rico and with pride and dignity. And also, he cared about the poor people all the time.
That's right.
I'm proud to be teammate with Roberto Clemente for 6 years. And what I learned from Roberto Clemente will live with me for the rest of my life.
Wow. June 11th, 1969 was an important day in both of our lives. My wife, Lynn, delivered our second set of twins, and that day you were traded by the Expos to the Dodgers. In fact, one of the twins, our son Wes, later named his cat Manny Mota as a tribute to you.
What an honor, what a privilege. I remember that day we played in San Diego, and I remember Jim Mark, he was the manager for the Expos, called Maury Williams, myself, to the office to let us know we've been traded to LA. And I believe, Ross, coming from Montreal with the cold weather to the nice weather in LA, that really saved my career. I'm so grateful to the Expos because the way they treat me with great deal of respect, and I'm proud and pleased with the little I accomplished and give back to Montreal. But in LA, really changed my career and made me be a better player because give me the opportunity to play for a pennant contender team and for a great organization with great history and great tradition.
You were traded for Ron Fairley and Paul Popovich.
along with Bills.
Yeah. Now, when you were with the Giants, they had Willie Mays. They had the Alou brothers. With the Pirates, they had stars like Clemente and Willie Stargell. So you were often the fourth outfielder on your team, but that gave you the opportunity, I think, and you would agree, I think, to become one of the best pinch hitters in baseball. You were the Dodgers' #1 pinch hitter. After that trade, he hit over 300 during the next 5 seasons you were with them. Did you enjoy batting at Dodger Stadium?
I love to hit at the stadium because remember I was a line drive hitter, supposed to swing down and take advantage of my speed. And I was being a line drive hitter. I forgot about trying to hit the long ball because that was not my game. My game was to put the ball in play, try to find some hole, say my Holy Mary and tag and hit, and pray the Lord when I hit the ball to find some hole.
What was your favorite park to hit in?
Well, I had to say St. Louis. St. Louis, you know why? Because the AstroTurf
Yeah,
was so fast. If I hit the ball in the ground, got a chance to get the base hit.
that's right. You hit a ground ball, it'll zip through there faster, won't it? Artificial turf, that's right. Manny, who was the toughest pitcher you ever faced?
Well, every pitcher I faced, they were very tough to me. But his #1, the best left-hander pitcher in the baseball history, Mr. Sandy Koufax.
Oh, yeah.
The best. And I faced Sandy about 45 times, and he struck me about 20 or 45 times. He was the I ever faced.
They talk about Koufax's fastball, but he had an outstanding curveball, didn't he?
And not only that, his fastball, right fastball. We start swinging, the ball looking right here, let it high, and then the ball go up, hard to catch up. And then the breaking ball, I remember one time he struck me out with the big curveball he used to have in Pittsburgh. And I thought, I'm gonna kill myself with the swing. Because that breaking ball was so big, I had no chance anytime for Sandy.
In 1973, Sparky Anderson selected you to be on the National League All-Star team. I think you were leading the league in batting at the time. That had to be a thrill.
Oh yeah, that was one of the biggest thrill in my career. Being part of the best players in the game at that particular time. I'm so grateful to the red hair, I used to call Sparky Anderson, for giving me the opportunity to be part of the All-Star team. That year, I remember, I think I was the leader in the league hitting. But the year before, at the same time, I was leading the league. And then they had to make a decision between Willie Mays and myself. And they chose Mays. But I think they made the right choice because they choose one of the greatest players in the baseball game. But the good Lord do things at the time he think he will. And the next year, the good Lord gave me the opportunity to play in the All-Star game. Thank you to Sparky Anderson.
Two of the greatest compliments that you received, and they came from many of your teammates, was Manny was a role model and positive influence. Nice words.
Beautiful words. Because as a teammate, I just tried to do my best, tried to help my teammates, tried to help my team to win some game, and to have fun. Have fun and build confidence on the players. And I appreciate the opportunity who was given me by the manager. When they sent me out to the play as a pinch hit, they simply to replay only one idea, to swing the bat. Hit a good pitch, make contact, and if you make contact, you got a chance.
And Ross, that made us very nervous, Ross. Anytime they call his name and we're sitting in section 105, oh my God. The whole section turned around like, and our hearts were pounding, like, and my poor mom was like, she was.
I remember that there were days when you would be driving to Dodger Stadium for a game, and you would see youngsters playing baseball in either a park or a field, and you would stop your car and you would go over and talk to those kids.
Oh, that was great to have that great opportunity to spend some time with the kids and talk to them not only about baseball, talk to them also about life and about how important education was. Because I want them to get good education. And I told them to enjoy the game, have fun, but remember, education is more important than anything else. Education is like a treasure to me. Let me ask you, Ross, if you're the manager, you got me on the bench, do you send me to pinch for Dusty Baker? Answer my question.
Or for Willie Stargell.
Oh, for Willie Stargell.
Oh,
Ooh. Okay, let me tell you about Willie Stargell. One time we played in St. Louis and we're losing. You know, I'm having fun watching the game. And all of a sudden, Danny Mota called me. He said, man, you're going to go hit for Willie. He said, Skipper, you want me to hit for Willie Stargell? I said, Skipper, please don't put me in that situation. Please. No. I said, Skipper, you're right. He said, Manny, go and tell Willie you're hitting for him. What? I went to Willie and I'm waiting. And Willie said to me, he used to call me Lito. He said, Lito, what are you doing here? He said, they sent me to hit for you. Say, what? They sent you to hit for me? Say, I don't believe this. Get out of here. I said, Willie, hello, Willie. Look to the bench. And Meta called Willie. Willie, come in. Well, I was facing left-hander, which I was very lucky against it. And the first pitch, Roy, I swear hit a home run.
oh,
Oh. Bench. I said, Willie, you see why they sent me to pinch it for you? Because I needed a long ball hitter, and that was they used me.
that's great. And you've conducted free baseball clinics for disadvantaged children, haven't you?
Oh yeah, that made me feel good to get the opportunity to do something for the community, do something with the kids, and to share with the kids and spend some time. And I remember I used to go to Puerto Rico and join Roberto Clemente to do baseball clinic to the kids in Puerto Rico. We enjoy it. And we're so glad and grateful to Lord for giving us that great opportunity to spend time with the kids.
Yeah. For more than 30 years, you and your wonderful wife, Margarita, have run the Manny Mota International Foundation. Your humanitarian organization provides needed resources and other assistance to disadvantaged youth and their families in both the U.S. and the Dominican. And Manny was inducted into the Hispanic Heritage Baseball Hall of Fame in 2003. Jose, your mother told my wife how she cooked extra food for the holidays because kids in your town lined up all around your home to enjoy a good meal, and she wouldn't let them go hungry.
You're absolutely right. And that's actually how the foundation started. Where we lived in the Dominican and Santo Domingo was a very busy thoroughfare, right? And there's a lot of traffic. And the kids knew where Manny Mota lived. They also knew that Manny Mota and Margarita had a big heart. So my mom would get the biggest kitchen pot you can buy, like gigantic, okay? And cook whatever she was making for us in the family, she cooked extra because she knew somebody was going to show up.
Yep.
And kids that work the streets during the day, selling newspapers, selling candy, and selling other artifacts, they knew that at the end of the day, they could go get a meal at the Mota house.
That's wonderful.
And that's how things started in the backyard of our house and eventually grew into the foundation now for over close to 40 years.
Yeah, over 40 now. Wow.
Yeah, close to 40 years. When you think about Latin American players that have, big foundations and or everything's so orchestrated and arranged, Well, he was a pioneer with that because he organized it, and
Yeah.
that led to having players say, Manny, I can do that. He told players, yes, you can help people in your community, in your town, and wherever you're playing too. Don't forget about them, because the community that you're surrounded by is very important, because they go to the stands and applaud you, and they got to take care of them too. So, Roz, it went from the backyard to regular meals for these people, so needy, in the Dominican and all over the Dominican, different areas, to where we continue to do that to this day. And thanks to my mom and dad that imparted that in us, we learned, and we continue. I, brought my kids to that. Now the grandkids are involved, the great grandkids are involved, and it's just terrific. We're so blessed.
Jose, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
It is 8 of us total. So I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters.
And 3 of the boys played professional baseball, didn't they?
Well, it was myself. Andy made it to the major leagues. Andy played with the Astros in the major leagues in 1991. And then Domingo signed professionally. Gary signed professionally. And Tony signed professionally. So about that, 5 of us made it to professional baseball.
Wow. Jose, what has it been like to be Manny Mota's son?
More than anything, it's a blessing. And it's been a privilege, because we grew up without anything missing in our house, for sure, right? There was always a meal. There was always accommodations. We always had a roof, thanks to his hard work. But we never took that for granted, knowing that there's a lot of kids that have that privilege. Now, the advantages we've had in this household is that we grew up biculturally. So we spent our school year in the Dominican and then spend the summers in the US. So by that way also, we are truly blessed. Now, with that too is Manny Mota himself and my mother Margarita didn't get the opportunities we got with education. And I applaud them, because they put such a value on that early in our life. Not like as teenagers, no. 8, 9 years old, study, do your homework. And if you don't, you bring bad grades, couldn't play baseball for a week. And that was torture. So we learned growing up in that house, there's going to be respect, and there's going to be admiration and appreciation of others. There's going to be faith, belief in God, and you're going to be able to also show appreciation for what you have.
Wonderful. Did Manny spend a lot of hours giving you instructions on how to play the game and deal with people in baseball?
He did. But he didn't push us to play baseball. He wanted us to make the decision. Okay. He wanted us to decide when. He always said the door is open, but I'm not going to push you. You have to like it. Roz, if you don't like a sport, it doesn't matter what your parents did. You're not going to pursue it the same way. And there are times when sometimes I didn't take baseball very seriously. And I'm sorry, I keep reaching to my grandson who's over here making a lot of noise.
That's great.
There's times when 13, 14, and I didn't want to go work out. And my dad's like, hey, I'm not going to push you, but if you really want to do this, you need to get out of bed and go work out. You need to, but at the same time, where's your homework? And remember, some of the best times we had, Roz, was when he was playing and he was getting ready for winter ball. And we had Christmas break. Okay. He would have the keys to the stadium in Santo Domingo, because he liked to work out in the morning to get ready for winter ball before he got in, right? And we go and work out at the main stadium. I'm 12, 13, 15 years old with the players from his team from Licey. And I'm telling you, that was the biggest treat in the world, to work out at the big ballpark, nobody there. Our dad teaching us how to hit, how to field, how to play every position, and he had the players talk to us. He didn't want to just be one voice. There's players there. I mean, you talk about Matty Alou, Enrico Cardi, and Juan Marichal, all these people, Felipe, Jesus Alou. I mean, wonderful people through the years. and we learned from all of them. But those days in the morning when we're on Christmas break, and he get me up at 8 in the morning, and I didn't want to go. Man, I really recall those as some of the best days I ever had learning the game of baseball one-on-one.
Yeah. Manny, I think you played Dominican Winter League baseball for like 20 years, and I think you still have the highest career batting average in the Winter League down there, don't you?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Ross, you know who contributed a lot to the foundation? The late Tommy Lasorda. I remember by Christmas time,
Oh yeah.
we need to collect rice, beans, grocery bag for the poor people. And I
Those are for you.
pick up Tommy at the hotel. I say, Tommy, we got to go out. We got to ask to give. I say, let's go and let's ask to buy 50 pounds sack of rice. I said, but we buy 50, but what's the guy? You have to give us 2, because that way we get 2 for free and more people receive the groceries. So Tommy go with me and spend all day with me, and he was a big inspiration, motivation for me. The way Tommy Lasorda treated me, with a deal of respect. I'm so proud and so grateful for Tommy for giving me the opportunity to be his coach for so many years. And I learned a lot from Tommy about the game, about managing. And what I like from Tommy about managing, I applied that when I was managing the Dominican Republic, Dominican League.
One of my first years with the Dodgers, we flew to the Dominican Republic for 3 exhibition games with the Mets. And as we were about to land in Santo Domingo, someone came around passing out Manny Mota masks.
I remember that at the airport.
And when we deplaned and started down the steps to the ground, here were dozens and dozens of Manny Mota Little League players waiting to welcome you home. We all had our mask on, but we didn't fool anybody by being imposters. They were not fooled at all. And then I will never forget what happened in the final game of that series in Santo Domingo. The Mets had Hall of Fame pitcher Tom Seaver on the mound. And Manny, you were told to go up and bat. And the crowd gave you a standing ovation as you settled in. Tom never admitted this, but he threw maybe the slowest fastball he had ever thrown in his life, and you slugged it over the fence for a home run. And the crowd just went absolutely bonkers and stood for several minutes, I remember. And that raised my admiration of Tom Seaver to a level that was never there before. That was quite a moment, wasn't it, for you?
That was one of the greatest moments in my baseball career and my life. We had a home run in front of the home people. I prayed the Lord to give me the opportunity to get a base hit, to get the guy in from second base. And I swing the bat, made contact, and I was surprised when I saw the ball going out of the ballpark, because I was not that kind of hitter. I was not a power hitter, but it doesn't matter how you throw it, slow or fast. I just tried to make contact, and luckily the ball went out of the ballpark. But my motivation was the way my own people receiving me at the plate. They give me the great motivation to try to do something, not to let them down. The good Lord listened to my prayer and all see the result. But that was without doubt the greatest moment in my baseball career.
Oh, wonderful. After you retired as a player, you became a Dodger coach for 34 consecutive seasons.
Wow.
The longest in team history and second all time in the major leagues. Nick Altrock coached the Washington Senators for 42 straight seasons. Didn't you love to coach?
I love the coach, and I love my relationship and communication with the players, the manager, in the front office. And I just try to build people and player confidence, and I appreciate the opportunity and the confidence they have on me to last for that long as a coach for the great organization as the Dodgers is right now.
What were the most important things you wanted to teach a player?
Just play hard, try to learn every day, little bit every day, because you're gonna learn everything every day in one day. Be patient and don't be afraid to apply what you learn, because that's the only way you're gonna find out if you learn or not. And also, always think it's always room to improve and get better. Never be satisfied and don't stay one level. Every day, try to be better and try to do the best you can and try to learn as much as possible.
When you quit coaching in 2013, you followed Jose into the baseball broadcasting business on the Dodgers Spanish network, a lot of stations, and you also, have you two ever worked together on the air?
We have. When I was doing some Spanish TV with the Angels, we had my dad as an invited analyst for the Angels TV, Spanish TV broadcast. And we're hoping the next season we get to do the same thing with the Dodgers on radio.
Jose, did you give Manny any tips on broadcasting?
No. You know why? Because I learned from him first as a broadcaster. Because when he was playing, Ross, you remember he always carried around a recorder?
Yeah.
And he was always doing interviews in Spanish for Jaime.
Yeah.
And so I learned that because sometimes on our drive to Dodger Stadium, he was recording stuff in the car. So I, as a little child, I was like kept thinking, wow, that's pretty cool that my dad gets to do that. And when he was playing also, he would be an invited guest for the Dominican International Broadcasting Team.
Yeah.
If the Dodgers didn't advance past a certain round, he'd be an invited analyst, and he'd fly to the United States with the Spanish Dominican Broadcasting Team. So I got to hear my dad on radio when I was 8, 9 years old. So I wasn't going to give any tips to anybody that was there way before me.
First, I really appreciate the advice he was giving me and teach me and taught me, Mr. Jaime Harin. That was a great honor and privilege to receive advice from the great Jaime, the great Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Well, that was my next question for you. Our mutual friend, Hall of Famer, Jaime Harin, has just retired after 64 magnificent seasons broadcasting the Dodger games for their Latino fans. When Jaime began in 1959, only 6% of the people who were spectators at Dodger Stadium were Spanish speaking. Now, that number is nearly 50%. That is impressive.
It's really impressive. Now, more Spanish speaking people paying more attention to the game. We broadcast in Spanish. I believe he was a big influence in that. And not only Jaime, Fernando Valenzuela bring a lot of people who never care about baseball, but when Fernando started pitching for the Dodgers, a lot of Spanish speaking people joined the Dodgers and back up Fernando and assist to the stadium, because Fernando, he was a great. When the Fernando Mania, remember when Fernando Mania happened? That bring a lot of people back to the game and bring the interest in people who like soccer to realize and be baseball fans.
Yeah. What was the breakdown of major league players this season? 58% were white, 32% were Hispanic, 7% Black, and 3% Asians or others. It has been 29 years now since Hispanics became number 2. What would you say about the fact that the Hispanics have really been so important to Major League Baseball?
First thing is, Ross, the development of the academies. That's number one, because Latin academies have allowed teams to see players at a very young age and to target players, sign them early. At 16 years old, they're eligible to sign. And these players are hungry, and it doesn't matter where they're from, what country in Latin America. They're very hungry to have a better life, to provide for their families. They've seen a lot of heroes like my dad that came from nothing. They've seen these guys thrive and have a name for themselves and put their countries up and their flags, right? So to me, the biggest influence has been the academies, but also these kids are hungry. They want to be the best. If you think about, if you take Latin America out of baseball, what does Major League Baseball look like? The quality of it, okay? Because let's not forget, Ross, it's not just the major leagues. Look at the minor leagues, huh? Look at development.
Yeah.
These players are from Latin America. It's countless and countless. The major leagues, MLB would not survive without the Latin player. There's no doubt. Go look at top 10 categories this season. Go look at it. Pitching, hitting, slugging. Go look at it and look at the percentage of Latinos involved. Star players that work hard, they're humble, they continue to improve, but there's no doubt that Rafael Avila has a lot to do with this, because he was the first one to implement the idea of the academy with the Dodgers in Campo Las Palmas. And after that, now every organization in baseball has an academy because of by Mr. O'Malley to support Mr. Avila and to support the great staff that Dodgers have always had in the Dominican and all of Latin America to have this happen. So it's all a byproduct of who? The LA Dodgers and the mentality of the O'Malleys.
Wonderful. I was about to ask you, were the Dodgers the first team to have an academy in the Dominican Republic?
Oh, in Latin America, they're the pioneers.
Wow. Wow.
And don't forget, Ross, the O'Malley family, how much they contribute to Major League Baseball and also to Latin American baseball. I so grateful and so proud to have the opportunity to spend time with the O'Malley family and for them to give me the opportunity to be part of this great and beautiful organization.
They were the best owners in baseball. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And many people will agree. Any other comments that you would like to make about what we talked about? Have we missed anything?
Well, I would like to say to young kids to be humble and treat everybody the way you like to be treated as a human being and a great deal of respect.
Ross, I'd like to say thank you to you and to all those wonderful Dodgers that opened their arms to us, allowed us to run around the stadium, to come and bother you, to ask questions, to learn, to give us your headset, and to walk around and following you. I want to say thank you, because without that, that was my true schooling. I went to school, I graduated from college in communication, but my true school was watching you guys, the pros, and doing your work and doing it at the highest quality. So anybody involved for years and years and years, I want to say thank you through you, because you're a big part of that. And you were such a great communicator. And I learned a lot of stats from you. I recall listening to you on Dodger Talk and just listening to you saying, on this particular day, this guy just does not do very well, or the Dodgers are 10-13 when that's just magnificent. I love stats. As you know, there's new age stats, but there's nothing wrong with saying, Ross, all you need is one more run than the other team. No matter what, it's one more run than the other team. That's never going to change it. That what makes our game beautiful.
And
Jose,
remember,
that's so nice of you to say that. Thank you.
I would truly mean that.
Ross, to win a game, nothing changed. Got to still go, hit the ball, make 3 out. If you score more runs than the other team, you're gonna win. That's the old ball game. And I'm so grateful to still be working with this great organization. And also for giving me the opportunity to still be involved with this great organization. Thanks to the Dodgers and thanks to the good Lord for giving the opportunity.
Gentlemen, it has been a tremendous pleasure to be able to chat with you. And I thank you for taking the time to do this. And I thank you, the whole family, for the class that you have brought to baseball over the years. Manny, you are 84. I'll be 84 in a few days. And I hope that you stay in good health, and Jose, you as well. And last of all, may I say, thank you very much for your friendship.
God
Thank
bless
you,
you and your
Ross.
family, Ross. Thank
My
you.
wise, God bless you, and your beautiful family. And don't forget to say hello to the cat, to Manny for me, please.
Well, wonderful. Thank you, fellas.
I've got to concentrate. I've got to concentrate. Hello? Echo. Pinch hitting for Pedro Borbon. Manny Mota.